See, I had a lot of things that I thought Grif looked like.
So you go on.
Dollar store Ryan Hall was not one of them.
Hello guys, welcome to the 50k Q&A. You know the drill. This is separated into 5 categories, that being weather, video production, general interests and hobbies, meme questions, and other questions that I couldn't put anywhere. The way this is going to be credited is based on who submitted the question first, or if a bunch of people asked one question, I'll show as many comments as I can. That being said, let's get this over with, because this is probably going to be a bit longer than people were expecting, but, you know, fun times.
Yeah.
You better not talk about
Who just fell off the cliff? Who just drove off a cliff at the Dominator? I just saw someone drive off a cliff.
Grif.
Okay, bro.
What is your favorite tornado? Now, I'm gonna be honest here, I really don't like this question. It's weird to say something that often kills people is a favorite. I guess the wording of it just doesn't really hit with me. So, for this, I'm going to interpret this as most interesting. The answer to that would probably be Gerald or the Tuscaloosa Birmingham EF4 from the Super Outbreak, just because of how I remember it as a child. Have you seen any tornado in real life? No, seen plenty in dreams though. What do you think of Pecos Hank and other storm chasers? I don't know, barely talk with them. From what I can tell, they're fine. And kind of just a footnote here, chasers in general seem like massive egomaniacs at first, but in reality, they're pretty chill to hang around with and talk with, so would you go storm chasing if you could? As long as I'm not the one driving. What's your favorite kind of weather? Snowy, cool and cloudy, cool and rainy, so like temps in the 30s and 40s. According to my southerner friends, I'm considered mentally insane. What prompted you to get into weather/meteorology as a profession, and is it as difficult as it seems to be? Well, my obsession with weather started after the 2011 Super Outbreak, where in the early morning hours of April 28th, I needed to use the restroom. Yeah, this is story time with Alferia here. I was 8, if I remember correctly, and I needed to use the restroom, so I went to go use the restroom. On my way back, I saw my dad sitting on top of the couch, looking outside. Looking at roughly around the time that I remember getting up to use the restroom, and looking at radar, there was a tornado warning for my area, and so he was looking outside to make sure that nothing funny was happening. Redneck dad moment. And so, before I got on the bus, I remember seeing footage of either the Tuscaloosa Birmingham EF4 or Ringgold on the TV, and then I went to school, and then when I got back, more and more footage of the event started to come in throughout the week. My passion for meteorology got solidified with Irene in 2011, the March 2nd, 2012 tornado outbreak, which is my next target, I believe, in terms of videos, and Hurricane Sandy. The thing about meteorology, and this is great for me, is that you need to be really good at math, and by good, I mean really good. I have gone through Calc 1, 2, and 3, gotten an A in all 3 of those classes, which I bet my pre-calc teacher in high school is probably cursing my name right now. And while I did struggle a bit, it wasn't anything terrible. It wasn't anything unfamiliar to me, and if anything, Calculus 1 was my problem subject. It's, from what I have been told, mostly the physics that people have a lot of trouble with. I haven't gotten far into the major itself. I'm trying to get as much of my gen ed done at my local community college that'll transfer over to UGA, so I don't have to overpay for a bunch of gen ed classes that are not going to mean much. Aside from severe weather, is there any other field in meteorology that you're particularly interested in? What's the other most commonly covered phenomena on my it's hurricanes, tropical weather in general. How did you become someone enthusiastic about weather? Autism. That isn't supposed to be a joke, it's genuinely just my hyperfixation. What's the most significant event you've ever experienced? Irma 2017 when it was a tropical storm, the 2011 Arctic blast, the numerous deep freezes. Yeah, nothing has really happened where I live. Do you think Katrina's storm surge was the most insane storm surge you've ever seen? It's up there, but there are some notable ones that aren't really discussed that much. Nargis 2008 wasn't high in terms of height, but it went 40 kilometers inland. Haiyan I've already spoken on about how high its storm surge could have been, but Eta 2020 storm surge estimates in Nicaragua range from 26 to 33 feet. What? What do you think of Ryan Hall? So, if you asked me this question back in 2022, there's a pretty good chance I would have said that he's the worst thing to ever happen to the weather community. Now my opinion has mellowed out significantly, just like my opinion on a lot of things. So much happened in 2023 that I began realizing what really mattered at the end of the day. Useless internet drama over some guy who makes weather videos and live streams that I see as kind of clickbaity is not worth my time and effort getting so worked up over it. Which is why I stopped publicly bashing him in 2023. And if I did speak on him publicly, I tried my best to be as coherent as possible and look over to the other side. Try and see what he saw that most couldn't. As to my thoughts now, I really don't have any. I'm neutral. His content is not for me. I'm not the intended audience, or I don't think so at least. So instead of hate watching like some others do, I just don't watch his content. That's it. He seems like a chill dude. I haven't met him or talked to him. I've talked with some of his staff before though, and they're pretty nice people. And I appreciate what he does for communities in need after natural disasters. And from what I've seen, coming over and over and over again, what's come on my feed, he seems to be improving. I haven't watched any of his videos again because it's just not for me. I'm not the target audience. And so, is it worth my time getting riled up over something that's not for me? No, it's not. It really isn't. And so, you know, that's kind of just how I feel about him now, really. Which feels like a whole big nothing answer, but it's really to just kind of put in perspective that someone who started out with a massive Ryan Hall hate boner has kind of turned around into more of appreciating what he does, even if the content itself isn't for me. I do want to apologize to him and his staff for my behavior and demeanor from 2022 into 2023. There was a lot of blind hatred without realizing that the issue was really just, I'm not the target demographic. That was the issue. Did I... surprise segment. Woo! There was actually a lot of questions about my Geometry Dash era of content, which is what this channel was about from, I think, ever since this channel was founded until 2021, if I remember correctly. So, I want to answer some of those questions in its own little segment because I feel like there's enough to warrant it. Why did you start off as a Geometry Dash content creator? Because it was a game I really liked and I was active in the community. I was passionate enough about the game and its community to make community commentaries inspired by C1997's videos. Now, most of those older videos suck, but the initial success of the first one from an unhinged rant from a freshman in high school was enough to convince me to push forward. I have no regrets doing GD content. In fact, I really want to go back to it at some point, since I do have some thoughts on some recent stuff that's happened. But we'll see if I go through with it. Mainly, it was just convenient and something I could easily make videos on. Did you have other ideas before switching to weather videos from Geometry Dash videos? Lots. There's a ton of scrapped content that never got past the early scripting phases. Most of the videos that were made are now deleted due to issues that arose when I was trying to get memberships going, but I still have the scripts in case anyone wants them. What made you stop making Geometry Dash content? A combination of burnout from making content really early on, a lack of interest in community events or drama to talk about, and a noticeable decline of people caring about GD commentaries, which has gotten significantly worse ever since I stopped. If you remember my older GD content, go watch Werewin, Troy PM, and GD:. They remain the only GD content creators I consistently watch. Have you ever played Geometry Dash recently? Yes. What's your hardest demon? Night Terrors by Hines, and it's been that for 4.5 years. I got 67% on Arcane Ascent, if that means anything.
You know things are not gonna go well when Alferia unironically says, "Let me cook" or "Hear me out."
Yes.
67 on Arcane Ascent, oh my god.
It's a new fucking best.
What is your favorite level? Mujige is cool, otherwise Multiplicity by Sirius. By Sirius. Sirius? I don't know. I said I was gonna go on Google Maps for this, and I finally can.
Yeah.
Anyways, on to video production and just general video questions. When do you start making weather videos? When I get bored. What was the most interesting storm to research in your honest opinion? All the Derecho videos, Alberto 1994, Haiyan, and Joplin. How long on average does it take to gather the research for a video? Depends on the subject. There are some times where all the research is done in about a day or two, or it continues so far that it ends up being in the video editing process, which happened in the video on Maria. Usually, I give myself a week, but normally I finish it up before then. What was the most difficult video for you to make, and was it satisfying to finish? Haiyan was probably one of those simply from the perspective of figuring out how to handle it. There were a lot of other things, specifically when it came to more nuanced subjects, in an attempt to make Haiyan easy to understand for those outside of the Philippines. I'm glad, really glad that the Haiyan video turned out as well as it did. I just wish it performed better. How do you research the storms you do videos on? First, I look at weather maps or the tropical cyclone report in the case of hurricanes. Then I go in this order when it comes to how and which order I research, which is synopsis, event itself, aftermath, human impacts, and then how the location is doing today. And of course, whatever else I find that might be interesting to talk about. What made you think or inspired your OC character? Originally it was going to be Morag Ladair, but the person who made my original profile picture turned out to be a terrible person. My OC is inspired by Morag Ladair's hairstyle, myself and how I normally dress, and the jacket is based on the one that Rina Tenoji wears. The one you see in videos is ripped from Airlock Sholmes from the Great Ace Attorney. I'm currently looking into a new design for the sake of potential copyright issues when or if I do merch. What does a content creator do to get permission to post borrowed pictures and video clips? Ask them, public domain, or Creative Commons. For stuff like news footage, it's a gray area since it's technically not for redistribution, but on YouTube, for what I'm doing, they typically don't enforce their protections. What editing app do you use? I use Headphone Pro mainly because it's just the easiest to work with whenever it comes to highlighting text. I used DaVinci Resolve and didn't really like it. The other editing software that I really did like using was Vegas Pro. When did you come up with the name Alferia? Back in my sophomore year of high school, I was translating song names from Japanese to English through Google Translate on my tablet, to make it easier to look for songs that I liked from Unisphere, which is basically a whole bunch of music that I downloaded for free. And they're there for free for download. One of the songs that I really liked translated in Google Translate to Alferia. My name at the time was Mithra, you know, the one from Xenoblade, and so I kind of needed to get a new name anyway. For some reason, the name Alferia just kind of stuck with me, and I switched it out with Mithra, and Alferia became my new and final username, and I'm glad it stuck there. How much of the meteorological knowledge that you're sharing in these videos comes from formal education versus extensive research that you've done out of passion? And what resources would you recommend for people looking to develop a better understanding of the metrics? I cut off that last part of the question because I feel like I can address everything all at once there. That, and it took me like 2 minutes to read the question in full. Everything in these videos, besides like very basic stuff that I remember from elementary and middle school. I am a Met student, but there is not a single meteorology class offered at my community college right now, and so that's gonna have to begin once I transfer. My deeper understanding of meteorology has been enhanced due to talking with people who know what they're talking about, and a whole bunch of just being exposed to it, and kind of connecting the dots myself. In terms of sources to look in for yourself, Google is your best friend. There are multiple weather glossaries from the NWS, and I seriously suggest watching videos by Convective Chronicles. He has 3 playlists for educational content, and I seriously would recommend looking at the guides to weather map analysis and skew teas and hodographs. What weather-related YouTube channels do you like watching? I watch Carly Ann, Convective Chronicles, and that's about it, really. I do occasionally tune into other channels such as Will's or Weatherbox, but the majority of shorter videos just aren't for me. Most of my issues with a lot of weather channels boil down to the fact that they are too beginner-friendly for me. That is entirely a me issue and not related to the work they put in. I don't really think I'm the target audience. The other issue is that it does take a bit of fun away of digging through the sources on my own when I look at a video that is going to be the subject of a documentary of my own in the future. Do you plan to collab with other weather-related YouTubers at some point? I'd love to, but there's a lot of planning that would have to go into it. Stuff like, what would make a collab better than 2 separate videos? Would the writing styles mesh well together, etc, etc. Due to that, and my experience with trying to get collabs to work, and those were for opinion-based videos, it's easier said than done, and as much as I want it to happen, I'm not exactly sure how.
Where should I
Grif,
spawn it?
any last words?
Bananas.
Oh dear, what the heck? I
Now we're on to hobbies and interests. What is your favorite color? Purple or pink or pastel colors in general? I really like pastel colors. They're bright and colorful. What is your favorite ice cream flavor? Mint chocolate chip or coffee Oreo from Brewster's? What other anime games have you played? Oh, you are gonna regret asking that. 100% Orange Juice, Ace Attorney Investigations, Ace Attorney Investigations 2, Oculus Trip on Dead and Undressed, Oculus Trip Hellbent and Debriefed, Apologist Ace Attorney, Astral Chain, Azure Striker Gunvolt, Azure Striker Gunvolt 2, Bakugan Battle Brawlers, Blue Archive, Code Vein, Cyber Dimension Neptunia, 4 Goddesses Online, Damon X Machina, Dead or School, Dimension Ripper Neptune, Top Depth, Doki Doki Literature Club Plus, Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, Gaugun Double Peace, Genshin Impact, God Eater Resurrection, God Eater 2 Rage Burst, God Eater 3, Ginga Force, Gunvolt Chronicles Luminous Adventure IX. Or is it 9? I don't know. Pick or choose with that one. The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, Hatsune Miku Logic Paint S, Hatsune Miku Project Diva Megamix Plus. Hyper Devotion Noir, Goddess Blackheart, Hyperdimension Neptunia, Hyperdimension Neptunia Mark II, Hyperdimension Neptunia Victory, Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth, Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth 2 Sister Generation, Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth 3 Victory Generation, Hyperdimension Neptunia U Action Unleashed, Kanagama Jackros, Mega Dimension Neptunia V2, Mega Dimension Neptunia V2R, Mega Tag Mention, Blanc plus Neptune vs. Zombies, Mighty Gunvolt Burst, Mustache Atsuki Chronicles Neptunia Shooter, Neptunia Sisters vs. Sisters, Neptunia Cross Sinrod Kagura Ninja Wars, Nino Kuni Wrath of the White Witch Remastered, Nino Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom, Nier Automata, Nier Replicon version 1.22474487139 ... Yeah, that's the entire game title right there. Ultimato Maid, Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, Persona 5 Royal, Persona 5 Strikers, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Dual Destinies, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice, Professor Layton vs. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, Puzzle and Dragons Z plus Puzzle and Dragons Super Mario Bros. Edition, Ruby Grim Eclipse Definitive Edition, Scarlet Nexus, Secret of Mana, Sinrod Kagura Burst, Sinrod Kagura Shinobi vs. Sinrod Kagura 2 Deep Crimson, Sinrod Kagura Bon Appetit, Sinrod Kagura Estival vs. Sinrod Kagura Peach Beach Splash, Sinrod Kagura Burst Renewal, Sinrod Kagura Reflection, Sinrod Kagura Peach Ball, Super Neptunia RPG Super Dimension Neptune vs. Sega Hard Girls, Tales of Symphonia, Tales of the Abyss, the 3DS port, Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition, Tales of Graces F, Tales of Zillia 2, Tales of Hysteria, Tales of Berseria, Tales of Arise, The Wonderful 101, Trauma Center Second Opinion, Trauma Center New Blood, Trauma Center Under the Knife 2, Valkyrie Drive, I'm not pronouncing that last bit, Xenoblade Chronicles, Xenoblade Chronicles X, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Toward the Golden Country, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and Pokemon, I guess. Hope you liked it. Oh yeah, I guess if I'm counting Pokemon, you could also include Yokai Watch 1, all versions of Yokai Watch 2, and Yokai Watch 3. I don't know, I think I've listed enough games. Favorite Pokemon? Volcarona or Gallade, take your pick. Got an anime series you're interested in?
A few moments later.
Yes.
I think I like Idolmaster. The joke is that it's actually Love Live School Idol Project. What was your favorite moment in NR 2003? Did I just send Devin flying?
There's an accident in turn 1.
The only reason why I was even involved in that is because Crystal was a bum and turned down.
Guys?
Yeah, you did.
Guys?
What did you do?
I may be stuck.
Okay, I gotta see this. I gotta see this.
Okay, you're clear.
Favorite anime? Okay, I'm gonna go on a limb and talk about movies as well here because I don't want to list Love Live. A Silent Voice is my favorite piece of media ever. Nothing has really come close ever since I've seen it, and I've seen the film like 5 times. When you play Xenosaga? If I don't have to sell my kidneys, I will. What is your favorite album of all time? I don't listen to albums that often, but if I had to pick, the Eschatos arranged tracks are pretty damn good. What is your least favorite video game? The worst ones are the ones that waste my time, and I have pretty much nothing really great to say about them. So, Ni no Kuni and Little Witch Academia Chamber of Time. Ni no Kuni has a really great visual style, and in general, just a lot of stuff going for it. But the battle system bores me to death, and in an RPG, a bad battle system can really ruin a game. Little Witch Academia Chamber of Time is just bad, besides its visual style being pretty good. What's one meme you will constantly reference? Have you done cosplay? No, but I might be interested in doing it. Who is your Hololive Oshi? Great, that's a great question. I actually don't have a specific one. Crony is probably one of my favorites, and then outside of that, Bibu has made me like and say Jet Alpha stuff that I normally would not enjoy, so those two. Have you seen Twister, and are you gonna see its sequel, Twisters? So, funnily enough, I never saw Twister until I was 21. That should tell you exactly how I feel about it. It's fine, I guess. I think I'm gonna review it at some point. I'm gonna see its sequel, Twisters, with a couple friends because, let's just say it looks interesting, to say the least. Do you have any pets or animals? Yeah, actually a lot. So, I have 3 cats, Mercedes, Stella, and Pepper, 2 dogs, Amber and Whitney, or as I like to call her, Shafid, and then a bunch of chickens. Because yes. Who is your favorite video game character? Velvet Crow from Tales of Berseria. If you've played Tales of Berseria, yeah, it's probably one of my favorite protagonists, if not favorite characters of all time. Who is the funniest person you know and why is it hated? Traffic Cone.
Pokemon.
Turn to quick bump. Alright, time for meme questions. Is cereal a soup and is a hot dog a sandwich? Gonna have to consult an expert on this one. Keon, this is very important, alright? So I have gotten 2 very controversial questions that only the crab legs or seafood glizzies man can appropriately answer.
And when you think about it, crab legs are just seafood glizzies.
I've never had to open up a glizzy with a knife before.
Hold on, let me cook for a second.
So the first one. Is cereal a soup?
No.
Alright, the second one. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Technically, yes.
Every Midwestern state sends 3 people to fight in a battle royale. Who wins? Alt History Cody. Man,
I personally don't like the taste of asbestos.
Alright, and this is just the various other questions that I didn't really have a category for. What's your favorite cryptid or mythological monster? Yamato no Orochi's pretty cool. A lot of stuff that's in Okami's really cool as well. Solve the curl of F when F equals that. Yeah, here's your answer. If I were to drive an airplane to Ohio at 5,000 miles per hour, how many scoops of ice cream would I need to drop in order to produce a tornado? Wait, I'm actually qualified for this! Alright, so, couple things you need to keep in mind here. First step is that your ice cream has to be from one place in particular. It has to be the Brewster's on Epsbridge Parkway. The reason why it has to be that one is that is the one that'll be giving you the best chances to spawn a tornado. It has to be a large waffle cone, 1 scoop coffee Oreo, another random Oreo flavor, something that's related to the seasonal flavor, and something relating to cheesecake. Those are the scoops you need. Special thanks to those subscribed to the channel Patreon or are a YouTube member. Those being Ace Cooper, Montpelier, and the Car Wash channel of Northern Pennsylvania and Ohio at the Alfie's Army tier, Charlie Lichterman, Heldrake Zero, It's Brandachu Music Gaming Memes, Michelle M, and Tanner at the Alf Junior tier, and all the blue lights, Brian Hawley, Dante DMC, Foscrew, Hannah Stormer, Jay Cario, Joey Murphy, Kara Kelly, Katie Scambalone, Liz Swaff, Miguel Medeiros, I hope I pronounced that right, Neon Binary, Rama, Sherry Number 33, Sorestro is bad at gaming, Tefu, Van Granny, and Worm Off the String at the Ulf Mini tier, and everyone listed on screen at the Ulf Supporter tier. Your support is greatly appreciated. If you want to have access to full uncut interviews and my scripts alongside other things in the future, consider subscribing to the Patreon or becoming a member at the Ulf Mini tier. It helps me financially and will allow me to do things in the future that would not otherwise be possible. And that's it. That's the Q&A, and hopefully you all enjoyed this, and, wait. Why is the raw audio file over an hour long?